This is Clark. As promised, we're attempting to make a YouTube video for you showing you how to adjust your mechanical disc brakes on your new e-bikes. So before we start, let's identify the tools you're going to need. You'll need a number 5 Allen wrench, which is metric. You'll need a pair of needle-nose pliers or something similar to this. So let's identify the parts on the bike. You have the barrel adjuster located on the end of the brake lever right there. That can be adjusted clockwise in, counterclockwise out. Then you have a little set nut there to keep it from moving once you set it. That can be used to adjust the tension on the cable, as well as the barrel adjuster down at the bottom located on the caliper. This is the caliper, this is the rotor. These are Allen screws that attach the caliper to the fork. This is the Allen screw which you unscrew to loosen the cable so you can pull it back about a 16th of an inch to get more play in the cable so you can use your barrel adjusters. I discovered when we got Elaine's bike that these adjusters were screwed all the way down and the cable was totally tight. There was no play in it. I couldn't, when you screw the barrel adjuster clockwise, it moves the pad away from the rotor. When you adjust it counterclockwise, and this is the same for the brake lever down here, counterclockwise will tighten the cable and push the pads closer to the rotor. Counterclockwise is unscrewing this screw out of its little threaded area there, and when it moves further away from there, obviously it pulls the cable with it. So the first thing you want to do is use your Allen wrench on the Allen screw that holds the cable in place and turn it counterclockwise to loosen it. Use your needle-nose pliers to pull the cable back. Don't get it so loose that it just floats by itself, but leave a little tension, then you pull that back about a 16th of an inch. That will give you the play you need. Tighten the screw back. Then you can adjust the barrel screw up from its closed position by turning it counterclockwise to put tension back on the cable. And then you can adjust it in and out from there. So the other thing I discovered on Elaine's bike is that you can see where the caliper attaches to the fork. In between the fork mount and the caliper mount itself, you can add washers or spacers which will physically move the caliper that direction towards the center, which will move it away from the outside pad. I had to do that because even with everything adjusted all the way out, it still was touching, so I had to put a spacer in so its neutral position would be not touching the outside pad. Now, the next thing to do if the inside pad is still touching, then you will need to put your Allen wrench in that screw and turn it counterclockwise, which will, as I said before, counterclockwise will move the pad, in this case, away from the rotor. Different action than for the cable. Once you got the pad adjusted out, this right now is adjusted all the way out, and it's no longer touching, then you can begin to make your adjustments with the barrel adjusters to get the pads to the position that you want to, because you basically, bring it up here, when you squeeze the brake lever, you want it to go about halfway down towards the hand grip when the maximum pressure is applied. You don't want to come all the way to the hand grip because then you're not going to have any brakes. But you don't want to touch the handbrake when you got it fully engaged. This is the front brake in my case. I think yours are reversed, but you can see how good it's adjusted there. So once you got it to where the rotor is centered between the two pads, then you can begin to use these two barrel adjusters to put tension on the cable and draw the pads closer to the rotor to the point to where you can barely see any light. Now, the lighting is, because it's kind of in a dark spot, you really can't. I can look down at the rotor and see it's not touching either pad right now, but the camera won't pick it up, so you're going to have to just eyeball it, being a well-lit area where there's plenty of light. And that basically is how you adjust them. I hope this was helpful.